Hi. How's it going? Everyone? Yeah, cool. People excited. You. Oh, I don't have the little clicker. It's behind me.
Use your eyes like that guy from earlier.
I was like, I got it. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. Perfect. So, oh, awesome. So, who am I? I know a lot of you in the audience, which is really fun to see, a lot of familiar faces, but a lot of you I don't know, which is also exciting. I'm Lily. I am the community manager at Periscope. I've been at Periscope since May of 2015, so almost 2 years. I joined really shortly after the launch. When I was thinking about what I should tell you all about myself, I started thinking about how I often tweet me in real life, of lots of things that are most certainly not me. Sometimes they are, but this pretty much tells you everything you need to know about me, and that I work at Periscope. So I thought I'd start with that. I'm going to just walk you guys a little bit through kind of what we've been up to and where we're headed, and then really want to make sure I take questions from people. When we've come to Summit Live in the past, my favorite experience has been talking to all of you, so that's going to be my primary focus, and I have a couple prizes for people who ask the best questions. So I have 2, so think hard. I want really hard questions, so make sure you get them going. Cool. So first I'm going to talked a little bit about kind of what we've launched. The start of 2017 has been really exciting. We started the year off with a bang by launching 360. I don't know if you guys have seen any of those broadcasts, but I really like them. I think it transports you into a whole new world of Periscope. We always say you see things through someone else's eyes, and now you kind of see them through their whole body, which is really awesome. And then this morning, we announced that Periscope Producer is now available for everyone. So if you've been sitting in this conference room with no internet, you missed that. But we're really excited. We've seen so many really cool uses of Periscope Producer. I think we as a team are really focused on launching products that unlock new capabilities for people to be more and more creative. And with Producer, we've seen really cool things, just stuff that I look at and I can't even figure out how they did it. And that's the world of Periscope I really want to live in. Something else that we don't have it's not out yet, but I really wanted to share with this group, since there are a lot of our core community members. We launched groups at the end of last year. We've received a ton of feedback about groups, and I'm really, really excited to share in the next 2 weeks. Updates to groups will be coming based directly on all the feedback from all of you, which is great because we love when we launch something and then people will say, why did you do it like this? I would have done it like this. And just want you guys to always know, like, we're listening, we're building, we're trying to make things as fast as possible. And I think this one's a pretty good turnaround, but is directly related to all the feedback we got from people in this room. So it's pretty awesome. I think you guys should be excited about that. And then at the end of last year, this is the video, we launched being able to go live in Twitter. And I'm going to play the video because I really like the song, and I think you guys should see it if you haven't.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Is that Rick?
Okay, are we live?
Then you never really die. I'm about to go live. I'm about to go live.
This tunnel was used by ISIS fighters.
Where were you at? This is awesome.
When you live like this, then you never really die. I'm about to go live. I'm about to go live. I'm about to go live.
Cool. So hopefully you guys did see that floating around on the internet. If you haven't, we did get that song specially made. And yes, I do know all the lyrics, and I sing it in our office quite frequently. My coworkers don't particularly like that, but I don't care too much. But I have been getting a lot of questions especially since we launched this, about going live in Twitter, right? Like, Periscope has been a product for the last 2 years. What does this mean for Periscope? And for me, this is really, really exciting. I think, if you've talked to me about this in the last few months, you already know this, but us integrating into Twitter more deeply is wonderful. I think from a community perspective, it only expands our community, and I think what it makes me most excited about is getting all of you a bigger audience. Periscope, you guys all have had great audiences. The product is not going anywhere. We will always invest in that first. We will innovate the most on Periscope, but connecting better with the Twitter app only gives great resources. For example, last week we launched that Periscopes now show up in trends on Twitter. So if you're at the Women's March in DC and you're broadcasting and it's trending on Twitter, you're more likely to show up in that algorithm. And we will continue to make improvements like that so that your content becomes more discoverable and that the community continues to grow. We have this incredible tool in Twitter and this incredible audience, and there's no reason that we shouldn't help all of you connect with them more. And so I know for a lot of people it seems like a bad thing, but for me, especially as my entire job is just focusing on the Periscope community, it is the most exciting thing I think we could be doing. So there will be so much more to come on more integrations to make that experience so much better for all of you. But I just wanted to take a second to say I'm really excited about it, and I hope you all are too. And in that vein, obviously, as the Periscope community continues to grow, what does that mean, right? We're including people from Twitter. We're including more people to this Periscope audience. It's getting bigger and bigger, and how do we help support and continue to nurture that? In the fall, we launched the VIP program. We are launching more and more meetups. I think this is just a great sample. I think it's been really fun for us to go to locations and have meetups. We've trying to do 2 a quarter. We're going to be in LA tonight. The RSVPs are full, which was crazy. So sorry if you didn't get on the list, but you should still try to show up and see in case some people don't show. But the other thing that's been most incredible about this is we allow community members to plan their own meetups, and we have seen 1 to 2 every single week around the world. And community members have been having meetups in Russia and in Turkey and in Florida and in Seattle, and places we can't always be. The team is really small, and while I would love to travel the world, just meeting you all, that isn't always an option. So it's really been incredible to see people banding together. And here is a picture from a meetup that happened in Spain. A bunch of users, and we help send swag and any resources they need to help plan it and help promote, so they can be where we're not. So we really appreciate all that support, and it's awesome. Coming soon, we have a lot of new things, since we do have so many new users all the time, to think about how do we help support people. The first, to just give you a little flavor, is what we're calling the cohort program. We've spent a lot of time really focusing on how do we support community members who are already really active, which is great. It's probably everyone in this room, but we want to take a step back and think about how we can also support new people to the platform and how we help make them better broadcasters and get them to the level that all of you are at. So we're starting with something called a cohort program, where we're going to make classes of around 30 people that's vertical based, that we work with really closely to help improve their broadcasting, get them up to speed, and give them extra resources and help them build community. So we're really excited about that. We also are going to be using our Medium account more. You might have noticed we had a blog post go up earlier this week, 5 broadcasters you should watch this week, as well as we're starting a new series called Broadcaster Spotlight. You may, in this room, get reached out from someone on our team to be featured in either of those. And so we're trying to do a better job of really surfacing and highlighting more people, both in-app and out-of-app. That leads me into our editorial coverage. Our editorial team now speaks 6 languages. We are now covered 24/7, which is pretty incredible. For a long time, it was just me manually curating content. We've now built out that team and have hired people in different time zones so that we're all not sitting awake in the middle of the night working, and in multiple languages so that we can feature content to folks in Russia and in Turkey and in Spain and in Paris and all sorts of places. And our goal is to try to get to as many languages as possible, because while everyone in this room speaks English, that's definitely not the case for our global community on Periscope, and we're really focused on how we help support that. So that's kind of just the basis of where we are and what's been going on, and I would just love to take questions. Yes?
Okay, I have two questions. One is hoping to win the best question of the day, and it's ban President Trump from your integration.
That's a great question. No, I cannot ban him, unfortunately, and that's probably why I'm not allowed to have access to banning people, because I would probably abuse that privilege.
Okay, well, so my real question, though, even though I think that should win, is so I'm not on Periscope. Feel free, boo me. But I'm on Twitter, though, so can I still do live, or do I have to join Periscope?
Yeah, absolutely. So since December 14th, now when you open Twitter and you go into the Compose, there's a little live button, and you can actually go live on Twitter without creating a Periscope account separately. We'll create an account for you on Periscope when you do that. Your content will show up there, but it's easy and effortless, and now you don't have to think about it.
All right, Lily. So
Yes.
I'm so glad that you said we can put you on the line, because let's do it.
I'm ready.
So monetization, can we talk about what Periscope's actually going to do to help content creators that have been on the app specifically since the very beginning, especially since we're seeing other apps like Busker show up on the platform that are really embracing their content creators?
Yeah, so I think for us, monetization is something that's been top of mind for quite some time. I think for us, there's not a silver bullet to solve this. There is not a one-size-fits-all solution for our community. I think the important thing to remember about Periscope is we have everyone from brands and celebrities like Lady Gaga and Airbnb to influencers to people who are trying to become influencers, to people like my mom, who is just broadcasting her making dinner to me because she likes to use Periscope. And I think we're really focused on how do we build any feature, specifically, especially monetization, so that it continues to maintain that aspect of Periscope that feels special and doesn't detract from that. And I think we've spent a lot of time thinking about monetization. We started experimenting in the fall with brands, and we launched some Twitter Amplify programs, which is a monetization platform that Twitter has for brands, and those went extremely well. And I think as a test of that, it became clear to us that we need to focus on ways to help our creators monetize. Our focus is on helping all of you, not helping ourselves, and so more to come on that soon, but it is something that is absolutely on the forefront of our mind, and something we just want to be extremely thoughtful with, because I think when you introduce money, it changes the product dynamic, and especially since we have a product that's been around for 2 years and people have certain behaviors and expectations, we just have to be very deliberate and careful about how we implement it.
Okay, thanks. I'm over here.
Oh, thank you. There, I was like, I hear the voice.
This is Oz. No, this is Kim Owens from Caffeine Buzz. I'm actually doing a research study that's connected to a live streaming workshop that I have at South by next month. Cool. And one of the key sections of it is social streaming. And the audience is both large promoters and all the way down to mid-tier festivals. So one of the challenges that the mid-tier festivals have experienced is doing a live stream on Facebook and then having the content taken down because of licensing issues. What can I tell them in terms of how they would go about doing that on Periscope, through Periscope Producer, and ensuring that they're dotting all the I's and crossing the T's in terms of licensing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am 100% not a lawyer. I am not the most qualified person to answer this question. We do have extremely clear guidelines on what is allowed and what isn't allowed, and clear guidelines on if you see something that isn't correct, what the process is to take that down. To what I would counsel them, I get that question all the time from brands or individuals that are like, hey, I want to do this thing, in which case we say, you need to talk to the owner of that content and not us. We are the platform, but you, as the broadcaster, own that content yourself on Periscope and are responsible for the content that you put up. So you should chat with those people, and obviously music copyright is very complex, and I only know a very small portion of it. Hi.
Hi. Whoa. Not my microphone at home. Thank you for Periscope. I love this app.
Cool.
As one of your VIPs, I just think it totally rocks.
Awesome.
And I have a couple of questions. Bible News Radio, just so you know who I am. I have issues with scheduling. Do you guys have an option in the future where we can actually schedule out our shows? I broadcast twice a day, and it would be great to not only be able to schedule my show in advance and put my title in there so I'm not rushing when I do it every day, And or if you can't do that, is there an option where we can go back in and change the title of the show? Because often, as you know, we might have a set purpose, but then our friends come in and they change the topic.
Yep.
So that's my question.
So for scheduling actually is something we had in the product in beta before it launched to the world. And we found that one of us would schedule a time to go live and then we wouldn't be ready. And you would be in this like panic because you're like, oh no, I told everyone right at noon I would go live and it's 12:01 and like I'm still like setting up my mount or whatever. So it's something we haven't revisited since then because it didn't feel like it worked for live situations. But it is something we hear on a pretty regular basis and have talked about trying to explore again as like a very optional feature to see what that would look like. But definitely no promises, but that's kind of like why it isn't there. And then for changing the title, that's a great question. It's interesting, most people ask us to change it mid-broadcast, which I think would actually be really tricky, mostly for the broadcaster to like, another thing. You already get like all these comments coming at you, then trying to go change your title too seems like a lot. But it's not something we've previously considered, but I'm sure the team is watching somewhere right now, so they hear it, and I will make sure, when we talk about product requests in the future that I bring it up.
Hi, Lily. This is John Burke from Roker Media. I'm right here, right in front of you.
Oh, you're right in front of me. Sorry,
Hi.
this like.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm actually talking to my staff back in the New York office, Ben Ratner. A shout out to Ben Ratner right now and Luke Watson.
Hey, Ben.
They're asking a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
They want to thank you, first of all. They like the producer on desktop. They love it. They're curious about when is the API going to be open for software to use comments and also extract data.
Yeah, so API is something we get requests for all the time, especially for media organizations and news organizations, and it's something we're starting to build out and experiment with. So hopefully more to come on that soon. I think getting producer out the door was a huge first step in kind of getting us there because I think it really elevates the professionalness and kind of you can build on top of that. So more to come soon. Oh, and data. Data is something that is also extremely important to us, and as we've continued to build out the web presence, we think that's the best home for that to live. It's easier, we can give more information, and are actively working on that as well.
Hi, Lily. Over here, sorry.
Hi.
I'll stand up. Kama from Rice and Spam. How's it going?
Good.
So the question that I have that a lot of people I know on Periscope have is the troll subjects. And my question is, have you guys looked into IP banning or MAC address banning? I understand how things revolve.
We do it all the time.
But the only thing though is that we still seem to see a lot of the revolving trolls that either change their name, get new accounts, and then we've also had the experiences where we've actually banned one person or blocked a person, and the person would have like 12 or 15 different accounts. It was a whack-a-troll,
Yep.
and the whole night was that. So the question is there an active measure on Periscope's part to create something that's intuitive for the user to make it a one-stop shop, bye-bye Felicia?
So first I would say I don't think it's your responsibility to have to deal with that. I think it's ours. I think you can sit there and play whack-a-mole all night, but that doesn't seem like a great experience for you. So I don't really think like us building a tool to make it easier for you is the right solution. I think us fixing it more aggressively is a better solution. This last week, we actually removed many accounts from Periscope that were spam. We posted a blog post about it, and I know a lot of people in this room lost a lot of followers. Sorry. But it's actually the best thing because we are trying to make sure we clean up the platform. The biggest problem is that once we do that or block an IP or whatever, they just start again, right? So it's a never-end cycle for us. We are also playing whack-a-mole. But things that we're thinking about on how we can handle that better are things like, how do we help control chat better so that those messages maybe just don't even show up because we can identify their spam before they even appear so that you don't have to play whack-a-mole. But those are things that are far more complex and like require us to do a lot of like machine learning around language that's used and trends, and often they change those things so quickly that we can't always keep up with them, right? Like one day all the spam trolls' favorite emoji is like a frog, and the next day it's like a peach, right? And so trying to predict the future is always a fun game. But this is something absolutely we are very seriously working on to make better, and don't want it to be on the shoulders of the community members to have to fight them in every broadcast, that we need bigger, more overarching solutions to make it just better overall. I'm low on time. Great. Okay.
Okay.
All right. My name is Jaja Kedit. First question is, when you're watching a person that has a lot of followers, like Cynthia Bazin, why does it glitch out so much? And then my second question is, I'm just trying to get bronze. How do I become bronze?
I was waiting for that question. We can hold an extremely high volume. So I don't know that I feel super confident saying it's because of someone's volume that something is glitching out. More likely, it has to do with either your connection or their connection. Both of those things matter when you're watching, and often people forget that maybe the person on the other end doesn't have great service, or maybe I don't have great service. And those two things have to like work together, because we often have people that have, almost like 1 million people watching, and knock on wood, they continue to perform fine. Find some wood so I don't curse the engineering team. My guess would be it would be some sort of other problem other than viewership. And bronze VIP, all VIP membership is based fully on numbers, and we use 8 weeks of data, and I pull it manually, and then I plug it into the system, and then it spits it back out at me to determine that. So the requirements are all on the website, and if you meet them, you will get bronze.
Hi, Lily. I'm Janice Temple with World Black History on Periscope. And my question is about the Pass the Cast. How does the Periscope team view collaborative broadcasting? And will there be a way to connect them so that people can follow them easier on Twitter? Because we know how to do it on Periscope, but Twitter is not so easy.
Yeah. I think they're awesome. I think it's really fun. I've found a lot of cool people that way. I think it's a great way to share audiences, especially when you have stuff in common. I think they're awesome. I think you guys are totally genius for coming up with them. How to make them better on Twitter? I don't know, to be totally honest. I don't have a immediate reaction that says like, this is how I would do it. I think using maybe a feature like a list could be really cool. I don't know if you've looked at lists on Twitter, like putting everyone to a list, and then like that you can share out that timeline of like a list. So that might be a really good way to do that, just off like the top of my head. But that's definitely something I can think about and like try to see how that would work better. But I see what you're saying. It's hard when everyone's profiles are separately and you can't share and retweet, and like they're not really the same. But my first thing that comes to mind is a list. Oh, can I take a question from Periscope? I'll be really fast. I'll be more prompt than usual.
No, he's not. All right, so a question coming in from Official Pedge. He wants to know, is it possible his other account was blocked, he restarted a new one, learned his lesson. Wants to know if he's able to get the engagement, though, if his VIP status will be in jeopardy because he was blocked once before.
If it's a totally new account, then yes, he can still apply for VIP. We do it on an account basis. So also, if you have 2 accounts and you want VIP on both and one doesn't qualify, you will only get it on the account that does qualify. Great, cool. I have to pick my favorite questions. Trump definitely is one. Should we vote on the other one? No, you don't need what I have. Yes. Okay. Yep. 2 winners.
All right, guys, sorry we had to cut that short.